Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chef Aram Reed. I'm coming live to you from Chicago, Illinois. We are happy to be part of the wellness break for the EN20X virtual wellness seminar. Today, we're going to be doing some really lovely hands-on cooking, doing a fabulous basil and chocolate avocado mousse. The idea that we're going to be cooking together, hands-on, putting together a fabulous little sweet dessert dish that's not only good tasting, but also good for you. We're going to start this dish with five simple ingredients: avocado, honey or agave, cocoa powder, a little bit of milk vanilla, and a pinch of salt. Super easy, and if anyone's growing basil out of their garden, we'll make that the sixth ingredient. What I love about this dish is that it's very healthy and it's very good for us and also very good tasting. One of those great sinless desserts that you can enjoy after your dinner and eat all of it up because you'll never believe it, but it is actually good for you. As we all know, over 30 million Americans right now are currently suffering through diabetes, with 86 million fellow Americans right on the cusp of right there between diabetes type 2. And we really want to make sure, as we are focusing on our wellness and our personal health, especially during this COVID time, we want to make sure that we are going to be taking care of ourselves just as important. So I wanted to put together this fabulous little hands-on recipe that we can cook together, and let's get after it right away. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get all of our ingredients together. In the chef world, we like to call that our mise en place, which essentially just means we're going to getting all of our ingredients measured and cut and then make it all very easy to blend. The one ingredient we're going to be using most importantly is going to be our blender. So today I have my Vitamix here. A food processor or a regular old blender will work just as well, but I just want to make sure that we have that plugged in and it's ready to go. First thing we're going to have is our cocoa powder. About a half a cup of cocoa powder here will be perfect. Toll House, Nestle's, as well as some really great off the market. I really like a nice dark cacao one as well. So if you can find that at specialty stores like Whole Foods, I recommend getting something like that, sugar-free if possible. We just want to make sure that we're keeping on with the health trick. So here we go, 1/2 cup cocoa powder measured. The second thing we're going to need is a pinch of salt. So even though it's going to be a sweet dessert, we do want to add a little salt in there. It's going to really help brighten up the flavor of the avocado and the chocolate. And so I prefer to use kosher salt, which I have my deli of kosher salt here. We're just going to use a slight little pinch of that, so roughly about a half teaspoon of our recipe. Second thing is our sweetener. Going to be using an organic blue agave today. However, if you have any home maple syrup or honey, that could also be used in lieu of this. I love the agave. It's a little bit nicer. We're going to use about a tablespoon of this, so we'll have that ready to go on the side. Last, certainly, of course, a little vanilla extract here. We're just going to use about a half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So vanilla bean paste or vanilla extract will work just as well in there, but we'll get those pre-measured and then ready to roll. Let's talk about our dairy. So this is going to have a little bit of dairy product in here, and so we are going to be using some whole milk. You can also use 2% milk, coconut milk, whichever your preference is. I prefer to use whole milk. It has a little bit of that fatty in there that we like and gives it a little bit of nice mouthfeel and texture and richness. So we're only going to be using a slight amount of this, roughly about 3 or 4 tablespoons of milk for this one, okay? And then last but not least, of course, we're going to have our avocados. Now, I've got some 3 small ones here, so we're going to get these prepared, and let's start diving in. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to separate these. One of the favorite things that I love to see are people getting injured on these, so we got to be very careful. Make sure you have a sharp knife, and we're going to cut our avocado and just run your avocado around the knife so easily, and then voila, it's going to pop right off. So I'm going to go ahead and get this baby out of here. All right. And then last but not least, just in case the pit is not going to come out, just go ahead and take a nice little tablespoon, and we are going to slide this right out. All right, excellent. So once we remove our pits from our avocado, we're going ahead and remove the meat of our avocado right out and into our cutting boards. Just don't necessarily need to chop it or anything. We just need to have it available for us. I recommend about 3 small avocados or 2 medium avocados or 1 large avocado should be great for our recipe. So as we know, they all come in different sizes, especially depending on where we procure them. So we want to make sure to have all of our avocados peeled and ready to go. Now, it's really important to make sure that we're picking out the right and correct, ripe and right avocado with this. So one of the things that I always like to do is as far as checking our avocados is first is a visual sense. Let's talk about the color. We're looking for that really nice, dark, sort of brownish, dark color, that forest green, if you will. Second thing we're going to do is for the touch. So once you get your avocado, give it a nice little feel. Does it have a little bit of bounce back? It's not mushy where your finger plows right through it, and it's not rock hard like a baseball. So we're looking for something that's going to be nice and ripe and easy to be able to cut right through, and then also easy access with our spoons. So let's go ahead and de-peel all of our avocados now, which I'll give you all some time to do so while we do it together. Sometimes I get a little finicky. It's okay. Nothing is good even when you're on live television. So I want to make sure that it's nice and easy. So I was going to go ahead and de-pit these as well. Alrighty. And again, it doesn't have to be pretty. This is about to go in the blender in about 2 minutes. Excellent. So the last thing that we're going to want to add in there is going to be some fresh basil. Now, I do have some lovely basil from the market from this morning. However, if anybody has some really fantastic home garden that they would like to pick some fresh basil and maybe even a little mint, I would recommend. I think a really great herbal note to this dish is going to really brighten it up. Nice for end of summer treats, but nonetheless, if we're going to use some nice packaged basil, we want to get a couple leaves here. I'd say about a couple tablespoons of the leaves pre-cut should be perfect. So we'll go ahead and pull these off. No stems, just the beautiful leaves. All right, so simple enough, you guys. This is all we needed to do for our first dish. Now we are ready to get everything in the blender. And the last thing that we're going to want to use is we're going to need a spatula, as well as a nice little bowl for presentation so that we are all set to go. Since this does not need to be cooked or anything special needs to be done with it, it'll be very simple to easily go from the blender directly into our bowls. And then from there, we're going to be ready to go. So let's just talk really quickly as we're getting all of our ingredients together in our blender about some of our nutrient bonuses from using avocado. Avocado has less sugar than any fruit in the market. And so even though we think of fructose being a very nice and bright, healthy dish to eat or supplements for sugar in your body to eat, however, avocado is really going to be able to brighten that up and really boost your immunity and also be a nutrient booster, which is what we're looking for, okay? Secondly, one proper serving of avocado is going to add for about 8% of your daily fiber count. So you can equate that to adding some really good nutrition to your body and also allowing your body to do extra. Being a new parent with a nice little 1-year-old at home, we love introducing avocado to her diet. So it's great for kids. They love it. It's easy just to chunk up into tossed into their breakfast eggs or their afternoon snacks. And I really enjoy that. And it's just like a sweet, good fat, and it's super delicious and great to have. So it's not necessarily just for avocado toast anymore, right? Excellent. So now let's go ahead and get all of our ingredients into our blender. So I'm going to add our avocados in there first. And I prefer to use my Vitamix in here only because I love the smoothiness of it. We want that really, really lush, aerated feel from the blender, which is going to provide a mousse-like feeling to it, similar to if you're in the streets of Paris, walking through Chez Agnew, which is one of my favorite places in the world. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add my dairy. So again, about 3 or 4 tablespoons of our milk right in there. I used whole milk, but again, coconut milk, soy milk, anything that you have your preference for your dairy needs at home, go for it. Again, with our salt here, I'm going to use kosher salt, about a little pinch, so about a half a teaspoon. You could also use sea salt here, whatever your preference is. Being a chef for many years, we've always used a kosher salt. You can find that in all of your baking aisles in the nice Morton's coarse salt box. Now let's add our chocolate. So we can use melted chocolate chips here. However, it does require an extra step. And it's really hard to find chocolate chips that aren't loaded with sugar. So I went with a sugar-free cocoa powder that we picked up at Whole Foods. And it's going to be a very nice sugar flavor to it. And then to add my sweetener, we're going to go back to our agave that we had mentioned earlier. So for our agave, we are going to use about 1/4 cup of honey or agave. So that's 2 tablespoons worth. Excellent. And then last but not least, just a little dribble of our vanilla extract. We want to get some nice flavor in there. So let's call it about a teaspoon or so of vanilla extract. That is it. All the ingredients are inside. We're going to go ahead and transfer this over to our Vitamix. And I apologize for the noise, but it's going to get loud. But the first thing I'm going to do when I turn on my Vitamix, you don't want to have it cranked on full blast. We're going to start on a low, make sure that it catches everything in there. I always have my wand in here just in case I need to pass it down. And then from here, we're going to slowly bring it up. And up to our turbo, which is really going to help bring in the fluffiness of our mousse. If for any reason the blades are not catching, this is a great opportunity to add a little bit more liquid into the recipe. So you can add a little bit more dairy. You can add a little bit more agave or vanilla or a spot of water just to kind of help brighten it up. Sometimes I also enjoy using a little bit of coconut milk. That actually helps bring in some added flavor and a little bit of nice cutness and sort of thinness. Helps really change the whole viscosity of the mousse. So let's go ahead and get this going again. Excellent. Simple as that, so easy, and it's going to be such a beautiful addition to our daily dessert. So immediately you can look at this, you know, since we're all at home, we can enjoy this. Just love it. Packed with chocolate. I have a huge sweet tooth, so I always enjoy loving something that's going to be good tasting and also good for me. I'm a former pint of Ben & Jerry's a day kind of guy, and so I'm trying to find ways to incorporate some new addition, healthy flavors to my life. All right, beautiful mousse, nice and fluffy. Look at that beautiful aeration into that. That comes from the Vitamix, just running it on the turbo for a little bit more. So we'll go ahead and transfer all of this into a lovely presentation bowl. All right, this reminds me so much of being in Paris right now. It even smells like it's the best part. Excellent. So go ahead and scrape this out the best we can. And since now we are sitting with this lovely chocolate mousse. Sometimes I love putting these in martini glasses. Kind of makes the presentation very fun. You can keep this in your refrigerator for up to 3 days. And then last but not least, of course, we want to make sure this looks nice and pretty for our guests as they come over for dessert. So let's go ahead and add some fresh herbs to kind of give it a nice little garnish. Okay, cool. All right, excellent. So now that our mousse is all plated up, to finish it, we're just going to add some beautiful summer berries. Got some lovely raspberries and blackberries that I think would add for a beautiful garnish, just to kind of brighten it up and give it that nice summertime feel. These are optional, of course, but I think really add some beautiful color and some great summerness feel to our dish. So please enjoy, everybody.